Hi, friends. I'm your host, Dr. Elizabeth Ssemanda, the intuitive psychiatrist, and you're listening to Stepping into Soul Power. Our guest today, friends, is a force to be reckoned with in the healing and empowerment world. His work has transformed the lives of many through shamanic wisdom and deep spiritual practices. He is a shamanic healer, life purpose coach with over a decade, friends, of experience learning from indigenous shaman and wisdom keepers from across the globe, North America, South America, Ecuador, all over the place. So the healing that he did, his belief is that healing it's not just about overcoming challenges, but it's about building resilience in our spirit and empowering us to really, really take our power back into our own hands and with clarity and strength. He uses two powerful tools, hand analysis and Olympia. And this combination is particularly effective for him. And, can't wait for you to meet him. And he's here. So without further ado, let me welcome Michael Cutter to the show. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good to be here.
Yeah, so we're so excited to dive in. Every healer has a story. The story that led them to the path that they're on. Can you take us back in time? Take us back a little bit and share how you got started with this work in such a unique way.
Yeah, we do all have a story. It's a long story, and I think really, it begins when I was young, looking back, because there were chronic health issues, there was trauma, there was things that happened that really took many years up until I think my mid-30s to really realize the impacts of that with different challenges that I was having in life. But I had some real severe health issues in, I guess, about 2007 or 8. It was a rough time. Lived homeless for a while. Ended up in the emergency room in critical condition. And it was during that time that I had asked for a purpose. I didn't want to die necessarily, but I had nothing to live for. And as I was in the hospital, I was in intensive care, so on life support. And after a couple of weeks, went into a coma. And it was during that time when I was in a coma where I was at the door, so to speak, of it's a choice of this life or the next. And I asked the question one more time to know if there was a purpose for me in this life or not. And that's when I was shown a vision. And that vision called me back into this life. And it showed me the shamans that I would be meeting in the future. And I had a lot of healing to do. The vision showed me I'd meet those shamans in 3 years. And it was almost exactly 3 years when I met the first of them. And
can I ask
that's the intro into what I do now and what started all that in my life.
Well, because I just want to go back a little bit because I want to ask, did you have a near-death experience?
Yes, you could say that. Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what really defines near-death experience, but I think it was about as near as you can get without doing it. Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories from other people that have had experiences, whether they struck by lightning or they have heart attack or they get hit by a car, whatever. And mine's a different version, but yes, I think it definitely qualifies as that.
Wow. I mean, what a transformative journey that you've been on. I guess I want to get to how did you get to the modalities that you use? How did that transpire?
Yeah. So, well, as I started meeting these shamans, I mean, it was about two things. It was healing my own body, and I guess you could say stepping into my power,
Yeah.
realizing my power, and becoming a healer. And a very important part of that process is gathering the tools that I use. And, in our culture, we have this way where we kind of, I don't know, we decide what we're going to do, and we look down the list and we check it off, and that's what we're going to do. So we go to school and we figure it out. We do that, and we find a way to make that our work. In the shamanic way, it's a little bit different. This type of experience that I had is not uncommon. It's in the African traditions, they call it twaza, the calling illness. And it's like an initiation into the spirit world, to go deep, to connect with your soul. And if you return, you can become a healer. And in that path of meeting the shamans, I had the experiences that were very impactful. And in those times that it's very impactful, I think it's a part of human nature. We have to learn more. We want to pick that up. It's medicine.
Yes.
And we want to share that with other people. Yes. So when I met one of the shamans, he asked me to, he said, well, let me see your hands. So I put my hands up, and very quickly, he repeated something to me that just nailed, what I was experiencing, one of the core challenges that I have. And I just knew, I had to learn that. I wanted to be able to impact people in that kind of a way, so efficiently and directly.
Yeah.
And so the hand analysis came to me like that, and I apprenticed with him. I've apprenticed with him for quite a few years now, and to this day. And, L'Olympia, I guess, kind of in a similar way. I mean, he's the same person that I learned L'Olympia through. And it wasn't my first experience in like traditional shamanism. I'd worked with a number of shamans from around the world, and I had learned, particularly from a Navajo man, a healing modality that was the cleanse and healing process. And it was, I very much connected with that. When I learned L'Olympia, it was a similar sort of foundation of practice, but so much more. It was many different aspects of healing in a very comprehensive system. And it just really spoke to me. All of the earth connection, and the stones and the fire and the elements and the directions and all of that. And it really spoke to me. So it called me in.
For people who haven't experienced L'Olympia, can you kind of paint a picture of what is it like? What's the process like?
Yeah. So L'Olympia starts with a diagnostic, and what they call a platica. That's a heartfelt conversation. Yes. About what's happening. Why are you here? What are you needing in your life? And as a part of that platica, we have different ways that we use to see the issues, because if people already knew the way to solve the problem, they wouldn't need people such as myself to help them. And, so part of the diagnostic process is listening to what they have to say and listening to the narrative, but more importantly, seeing the deeper patterns and issues behind the stories and behind the experiences that's really the result of why they're here. Mm. And so we use the candle reading for that, and I use the hand analysis for that. Yes. So it's two ways that help us to see into the deeper nature of the issues, so that as we do the healing, we can really address the core. We can really, when you can touch on the core issues of what they're experiencing and bring healing there, that can translate to profound relief in different parts of their life. So there's that, and then the process of the limpia itself. You can see a little bit. I've got behind me here a little bit of the altar.
Oh, wow.
I'll tip my camera down just a little bit.
That's awesome.
But you can see some of the stones. You can see the altar here. You can see the leaves that we use, feathers. There's different liquids and aromatics, the rattles, drumming. All these are different tools that we use to help to pull those negative energies out of the body. Because throughout time and stress and trauma, we identify with different issues or problems, and it goes into the tissues of the body, even into the organs and so on. And so we use the stones, we use eggs, we use the feathers and the leaves to cleanse that energy. And then we have other tools that we use for rebalancing energy and reharmonizing the energy. And it's not just on the body, it's also in the aura. That's a very important part is cleansing the aura of those issues. Because in the shamanic way, in this particular shamanic way, they see that our body is a manifestation of the spiritual energy that we have, and the spiritual energy, the soul that exists. Some people call it the aura. Yeah. And in the shamanic tradition, they call it the light body often. Yeah. And so as this spiritual energy condenses and goes through the different layers of the aura, it becomes the physical body. So we live inside this container of spirit. And so when there's trauma, there's issues, much of the issues are held out here in that spiritual body that's around us. So we cleanse that, we reharmonize that. And like the leaves, for instance, are a part where we're shaking the leaves around people and on the body. And it's cleansing and it's vitalizing and waking the energy up, but it's also reharmonizing that energy field to the energy of nature. We have a really beautiful reciprocal nature, humans and plants. We provide the carbon dioxide, they provide the oxygen for us. Mm. And when you go out into nature, you feel this positive ion energy that's there. It's calming and relaxing. The negative ion energy. And the stresses the positive ions. And so there's a rebalancing that happens with that. So it's very mystical and spiritual, but it's also scientific in the way that it can be seen and what it's doing.
I love how you're bringing together the science and the spiritual part, because it is a beautiful way of looking at how we can really heal all of us. Yeah. I wonder if, I know that you've worked with lots of different people in hand analysis and in Olympia. And is there a specific experience during this healing practice that really surprised you, where you learned something that you didn't expect?
mean, I'm constantly learning from clients. um,
Life.
I think the thing surprises me the most uh, is how resilient people are,
Mm.
how they can carry the things that they do in life and be relatively healthy and be functional in life. I hear the stories from people, and sometimes it's just mind blowing the things they've been through.
Yeah.
And so that resiliency of the human spirit and our ability to adapt and to move on in life, this really touches me in a lot of cases. And I don't know, I've been through a lot in my life. I've been through a lot of challenges and seen a lot of things. So there's not many stories that people bring that really surprise me.
Mm.
What surprises me is how they've adapted and how they've, even in their suffering, chosen to see the positive side of life.
Yes. Ooh, wow. Wow. That is powerful. The power of human resilience. I'm glad you shared that because I think, especially right now, with just, I think I'm in psychiatry and I hear from my patients there's a lot going on and people are feeling uncertain.
Yeah.
Um, and and with this uncertainty, because you've worked with lots of people, well, I guess one question I have for you is how do you stay centered and as a healer, and then what can you recommend to others in between La Limpias to to stay centered and healthy?
Yeah. No, it's a good question. I think as a healer, I think the number one thing that and I say we because I think it applies to most healers,
Yeah.
we have to learn how to properly hold space for people so that we're not taking energy on in our sessions, taking energy on from clients. In other words, we need to heal our own trauma. We need to heal our own insecurities and fears. Because when clients bring that to us, if it's triggering emotions, that's going to break us down and wear us down. So you have to learn that. And you also need to, learn tools for cleansing, learn tools to just keep that. When you go out and you work out in the yard all day and you're in the dirt and the dust, you go in and you take a shower.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize when they're in environments where there's stress, when there's tension, uh, just walking about in life, that these energies are also gathering and collecting on our bodies and our energy field. So I can do Limpia for myself, and I can do other cleansing for myself. I have a meditation that I do every day that helps to realign me. I have other medicines and herbs that I work with that take me deeper into healing processes when it's necessary. And of course, I take my trips to Ecuador once or twice a year, and I visit the shamans there, and I receive the limpias, and I do the ayahuasca ceremonies. And it's not the type of career, if you want to call it that, where you just go to school for a few years and you're done.
Mm.
It never ends. And our training
That is such an important part. It never ends.
never ends, and neither does it. It has to become a way of life.
Yes.
And when it becomes a way of life, you're helping other people, and you have to stay on top of your own challenges too. Healers tend to have a way of taking care of everybody but themselves.
Yeah. That is very true. Um, I can say that it definitely is a challenge in allopathic medicine, and just across the board. Incredibly, a lot of people are incredibly empathetic, and I know that I've struggled with that in my own journey. Um, I did want to ask about for people who have, um, I guess it's because one question I get a lot, or in psychiatry, a lot of people feel lost, like just really disconnected um, from like their purpose, and so I guess you have hand analysis, and can you tell us a little bit about like how you help people find their purpose? Are there other things that what goes into that, figuring
Yeah.
out like why am I here and what am I supposed to be doing, or what does my soul want me to be doing?
Yes. No, and thank you for bringing it up. I mean, it's in the way that I see things, it's the most important thing.
Mm,
I mean, survival is important, right? Paying our bills and survival is important. But uh, if we want happiness, if we want a sense of meaning and purpose in our life, we really need to figure that out and connect with that part of ourselves so that we find that in our life. And in my personal story, um, like I explained, I mean, it was several years. I mean, I didn't have a purpose, and it was the number one issue that I saw with being able to heal and get through the issues that I was in. I didn't have a reason to fight for my life because it was a mess. And without that sense of having something to get up and rally my energy and reclaim my power in life,
mm,
without a purpose behind that, there just wasn't the energy to do it. And I see the same thing in life as I look out, in the world. I see an incredible amount of low grade depression in almost everybody and going through the motions of life.
yeah.
And so I see it as being a fundamental issue in our culture.
Yes.
Uh, and so, part of my work is educating people about that because they don't realize how connected that sense of purpose is to our well-being.
Mm,
And uh, one other little practical example that I'll give is, for instance, if somebody's a healer, uh, some of the core, I guess you could say, needs of the healer it's about communication. It's about communicating your wisdom and the insights that you've gained through life and helping people.
yeah.
You have to feel heard. You have to feel understood to be effective in your work and to feel that sense of purpose being fulfilled in your life. And because when you have that, you're doing your job and people are being helped. But if you're not connecting in that way, something's wrong and you don't feel the sense of meaning and purpose. Now, if a healer is not doing their work and feeling that fulfillment, they feel that real dissatisfaction inside. And where does that sense of dissatisfaction get expressed? In their relationships, mostly close relationships with partner, husband, wife, coworkers. Those individuals may be great listeners, but it's never going to be enough for what that healer needs to feel a sense of being heard and being understood. They have to be doing that work as the main focus in their life. And then when they do that, the little issues and the conflicts and the challenges that are there in day-to-day life aren't so much of an issue. It takes the pressure off. So it's a practical way of how the purpose, when you're living it, how it helps to create a deeper sense of relaxation and peace inside and fulfillment.
Yes.
When without that, every little thing can become a trigger. So it's vitally important. And, there's not many cultural ways to really connect with our purpose. We have Myers-Briggs. We have lots of nebulous ideas if you look on the internet. Seek joy is a big one in the New Age, metaphysical world. And it's spot on, but it's so nebulous that we need something more tangible.
Yeah.
Especially when there is deeper confusion or trauma, because that's what creates these blind spots in our awareness of who we are and what we're here to do, because we have fears about being in our authentic voice, because it exposes those old wounds of trauma in whatever way they may be. So this, the healing of the wounds and the understanding of the purpose are both really, really important parts of being able to step into your gifts and your passion in life.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. I can't believe we're already towards the end of our time. But there were so many profound, just golden nuggets, I'll call them. That just we as and I'm talking about the healing community, that we really, really, really need to do our own work. Like it's just so important, like that when you do your work, it's better for you, and it's also better for the world.
Absolutely. And I'll add a little snippet to that.
Okay.
Usually not the kind of work we think it is.
Oh, tell me more. Hold on, we got a little more time. We have more time for this.
So, in my experience, the challenges for the spiritual people are more about structure and a practical life. We may have all the wisdom in the world, but we have to be able to put it to use to transform our life, to not be broke all the time, to not just live in a world of ideas, but embody that wisdom.
Yeah.
so that it's really authentic and really true. And a lot of it comes down to embracing the idea of structure. And healers are about freedom. We don't like structure.
Yeah.
So anybody listening, reflect a little bit on that and how structure is a challenge, and work with that to create balance in that part of your life.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. All right, finally, Michael, if there was one powerful affirmation, mantra you think might be, that really speaks to you, that might help people truly step into their soul power, what would it be?
An affirmation or mantra? I'm not sure how this really fits into an affirmation or mantra, but I think as more of a practice.
Yes.
As embracing this idea that the way out is in.
I love it. The way out is in.
It's not about avoiding or tuning out of our challenges. It's about engaging and integrating them so that they make us stronger.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. So for our listeners that are that are intrigued and would love to connect with you, how can they find you?
Easiest way is go on my website, michaelhartsong.com.
Well, I want to thank you, Michael, for sharing your wisdom with us today. Just so many gold nuggets. You were raining them. They were raining. Your work is just truly inspiring, and I know it's going to touch the hearts of many of our listeners. Thank you. If you haven't heard it yet today, I appreciate you. The soul in me honors the soul in you. If you'd like to see more episodes like this, please subscribe or click here. And friends, if this spoke to you, leave a comment below. We would love to hear from you.